Welcome to Prep Sports Network. I'm Brian Stanley, and this is another year of the Coaches Show. Joining me, your favorite coach on the Central Coast, David Schuster of Your Mission Prep Royals. Coach, welcome back into the hot seat. It's been a minute.
Real excited to be here. First day of school, so everyone's looking the part and great energy. But yeah, as always, love being here with you.
Let's get things rolling out of the gate. We're making a big move this year. It's already been all over the interwebs, covered by the Tribune and KSBY, but we'll talk about it here just for a minute, get your words and perspective. You're moving the squad from Royal Stadium on the campus of Mission College Prep to home games at Mustang Memorial Field presented by French Hospital over at Cal Poly, formerly known as Alex G. Spano Stadium, or forever known in our hearts as Spano Stadium. Talk about that move and how big it is for this program.
Just so deeply excited. You're right; it has been documented everywhere, and we're thankful for the way everyone's responded to this. Deeply thankful to Cal Poly and the administration. Numerous people have been involved in this. This was a conversation that took place in January. Myself, the executive team, the athletic department, we had a big conversation about a number of areas in the football program that I really wanted to see kind of grow and expand. And this was one of the kind of at the top of that list. Was felt like there might be an opportunity to pursue this. And my administration, I'm deeply thankful to them. They were actively on board with trying to find a way to make this happen. And we reached out to Cal Poly and they reciprocated that feeling. And so that kind of made, there were numerous hurdles that we had to jump over. And I think if both parties had not been actively going, we want this to happen, then it probably wouldn't have taken place because both sides were actively trying to find solutions to things. And so, and we continue to do so all the way up to today. We got game day on Friday, and I think everyone's just, kind of in scramble mode a little bit, but we're also, this has been a long process of planning and thinking through everything we can think through. And like anything else, as you get close to game day, new issues pop up. And again, I remain very thankful to both sides for everyone actively working and finding solutions. And yeah, it's going to be a wonderful event.
Well, you're making half of my dream come true to broadcast in a college football stadium. Wanted to be a college game, but I'm halfway there. I'm in the stadium. I got the foot in the door. I'm on the air. What more could you ask for? So I do appreciate you bringing me along for the journey, Coach, and Stephen Hodges, Prep Sports Network, the whole team. We're all returning, including our cameraman, ever so faithful Thomas Bowden. I'm happy to have him on board once again. Coach, this is a rough note. I haven't been able to finalize any of these dates except for the Lompoc Arroyo Grande in 1990. But we have the last high school game played at Cal Poly, roughly 1998, which would have been Arroyo Grande San Luis Obispo in a championship CIF game. Found that on Wikipedia. Don't hold me to it, but the 90s was the last time a game has been played in Cal Poly, and that makes it even more tremendous.
Yeah, we're again, it's a first class environment. It's a beautiful facility, and Cal Poly continues to be just an incredible partner with us. They're nothing but an absolute first class organization, and they've been that way with us from the get go. And we're, obviously the opportunity to get our kids in a D1 stadium, you can't beat it. And so it's not really, I will say this has been a common question that we've had. It's not tied to anything. We're not really starting renovations on the backyard yet. We do want to get there, and I know we're working very, very hard to get there. I think it'll happen soon.
Yeah.
But this was independent from that. Regardless of whether or not that was getting started, I thought there was a chance to get there, and we pursued it. And I want to give a lot of credit to Darnell Harris. Darnell has been the point person on all of this, and he's really made this happen. I expressed my desire, but Darnell is the one who really made this a reality. And so he continues to be the point person on that, continues to work incredibly hard on the school's behalf. And that relationship with Cal Poly is something that's very important to us. And so I'm so thankful for so many people, Mike Susank, my principal, and the entire Cal Poly administration. There've been a lot of people involved who've really made this a reality, and we're going to be able to give our kids a first class experience that nobody else on the Central Coast can offer. And so, just pumped beyond belief. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, I'm thankful there's no more ladders, and if you know, you know. So let's
There
move
are
on.
there are stairs.
There are stairs. Stairs are different than ladders. Uh, if anybody knows, it's going to be Kevin Dolan about my ladder experience, and hopefully he's going to watch this and get a chuckle out of that. But uh, first home game is coming up, as you said, this Friday. You're hosting Bakersfield Christian Eagles. Last season you opened up on the road in Bakersfield, 35-9 loss. They kind of took it to the woodshed out there in Bakersfield. How does it feel to get a chance to get some redemption on that opening season loss?
Well, I'll say, one, we're thankful for the opportunity to be able to try to make that happen. These are two very, very different squads compared to the squads that were on the field last year, and I know they lost a lot of talent. We did as well. They are not hurting for athletes though, and we're pumped about the opportunity. But it's going to look a little different, and we're going to have to be real creative about taking our shots and taking advantage of some things and trying to find a way to be successful against a team that has a lot more players than we do, and they got a lot of athletes, and we got to find a way to match up with all of them. So they're an incredible program. Coach Carr has been he's a championship coach. He's been there for a while, and they've been dominant for a long time. So, but we're very, very excited about the opportunity. I think everyone's kind of just excited to get on the field. So we'll see how it goes, but there's no question they thrashed us last year, and we're hoping to not repeat that this year. So,
Well, let's talk about you talk about the players we've lost, but let's talk about the players returning. These key players to your squad. And I've developed my own list, and you can add to it or however you want, but I'm just going to quickly run down the names and we can talk about details here in a second. We have Connor Lopez, linebacker, Luke Terry, wide receiver, Drew Harrigan, running back, Gabe Rodriguez, lineman, all four captains on your squad. And then we have Lucas Elmerick, Jaden Ozil, and Armand Clayton in the mix as our key returners. And these are both all key players on the defensive and offensive side of the ball.
yeah, every one of them that you mentioned, I would add to that list: Sean Rivas, Gabe Amata, Joey Clipperton, um, and there's a number of other ones that I'm sure I'm forgetting. Maverick Bright's a young man. He's a transfer from Morro Bay that we're very excited about. I think he's going to be dominant. The Forellis brothers, Ethan and Tristan, same as well for them. They've been real key for us. So there's a number of kids that the reality for this whole squad is there are some key pieces in place. Drew Harrigan obviously is a dude. Connor Lopez is a stud. Gabe Rodriguez, Luke Terry, very proud of both of them. But this is a very inexperienced team. It's a talented team, but it's very inexperienced. And we lost a lot of superstar senior leadership and a lot of key players in a number of positions. And so that's kind of resulted in this squad that I think has a burning desire to prove themselves. But we are going to have a lot of dumb mistakes on the field when we start out the year, because it's just how every young team is. And so we're young. We have a small senior class, and despite our talent, we're going to have to find a way to actively overcome some youthful mistakes that are going to happen. So, but I will say I'm really, really pleased with the aggression, the energy level. There's a little bit of a chippiness to this team. They got an edge to them that I really, really like. And then there's also just the factor that they really are desperate to prove themselves. They listen to their coaches very well. They are actively trying to find a way to get better. And that tells me that this is a team, regardless of what happens week one. We got blown out week one last year, and everyone recovered pretty quickly. We moved on and had a great year. So obviously 0-1 ain't no fun. We want to start We want to start the year 1-0. But I also know it's more important for us to get this thing, um, daily development in a great spot. And if that happens, and it's been happening lately, that tells me we got a great opportunity to be very successful. So
I want to point out two players individually. You have the lead running back Drew Harrigan returning 1,300 yards last year plus, and then 17 touchdowns. I know we lost Colby White, who's going to be playing at Cal Poly, playing football on Saturdays on the same field you play on Fridays. So, but you have a leader returning in a huge leadership role on the offensive side of the ball. And then I feel like you're going to have a breakout star in Luke Terry, who's been playing behind some key receivers the last couple seasons. He had 407 all-purpose yards. So he's having to strike when he gets in and make those strikes count, and he does because he was playing behind other players in the depth chart. So I feel like this year could be his breakout year in his senior year, and we could see big numbers from him from my point of view in the booth.
you're not wrong about any of that. Luke Terry is a young man that we feel very strongly is going to have a powerful year. He's an incredibly explosive player. He's really dynamic on the edge, and he's someone that we're really looking to be kind of an X factor for us in a number of ways. So Luke has really stepped up in a powerful way in his leadership in the program. And but he's an explosive player on the field, and you're right, it's his time, and he looks great. We're so excited to see him on the field. Drew, obviously, everyone knows what they're getting with Drew. Man, he's a workhorse, and he's kind of the next in this long line of powerful running backs that we've had come through. And he looks every bit the part. He looks like he's going to be the one driving the boat for our success this year. I will also add to that, Connor Lopez has really established himself. He did it during the summer. He's kind of our energy. He brings a lot of energy with him. He has a high expectation for himself and for his other players. He's actually leading film sessions with some of the kids, so I've been really pleased with the way he's doing some things. But then watching him on the field, we've played him at safety, at outside linebacker, and at inside linebacker, and he is incredibly dominant wherever we put him. He looks to be an incredibly special player on the defensive side of the ball. So he's another one that I think people are going to kind of go like, oh, So we're real excited about him.
And then let's move on to the question or the elephant in the room, shall we say? The starting quarterback. We have looking at the depth chart, we have a couple names on the list. Drew Souza and Vinny Orlando. If I'm missing anybody that could be in that category, please fill me in. But who we got that's going to step under center Friday night and take the first snap?
Yeah, it's kind of been all summer. It's been probably the number one question, that and Cal Poly, who's going to be your quarterback after Colby left. And, we've been real fortunate. We had Chase Jones the first year, and then we had Mark Rodriguez for basically 3 years, and then Colby White, for 3. And so, we've kind of had a long lineage of, guys who are taking over young and dominating early, and that's not really the case this year. Vinny's kind of been waiting his turn, and Drew's been competing really hard. He's a senior transfer from the Bay Area, the young man that we're very proud of, and I will say both young men worked incredibly hard, continue to work hard. The competition is ongoing, but we have made a decision for week 1, and we're kind of going from there. It's a very close competition. I will say Vinny can do some things that Drew struggles with, and vice versa. Drew can do some things that Vinny struggles with. But as of in terms of game plan and a number of other factors, we're going to move. Drew Souza is going to be our starting quarterback for the Bakersfield Christian game, and then we're going to kind of go week by week and reevaluate as we kind of move into the season. So, very proud of Drew. Very proud of his growth. Think he's really done a great job of coming in and having to learn the offense on the fly and learn the culture, and he's really bought in very fast. I think the kids have bought in on him really well too, and you can kind of sense it. He's done a great job of owning the huddle and showing great leadership. And he's got a physical presence to him that's impressive, and we're excited about. There's some things we can do on offense with him that I think give us a great chance. Vinny, likewise, he's a great thrower of the ball. He's very competitive. He continues to be very competitive. He handled this conversation a couple weeks ago very, very well. Been deeply proud of his maturity and the way he continues to grow. And we're going to rely on Vinny for a number of things this year. But going into Bakersfield Christian, Drew's going to be our guy.
Okay. Drew Souza is going to be the starting quarterback this Friday night against Bakersfield Christian Eagles at the Alex G. Spanos Stadium or the Mustang Memorial Field, presented by French Hospital on the campus of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Your Mission Prep Royals will be live on Prep Sports Network, prepsportsnetworks.com, or our YouTube channel. You can find that at prepsportsnetworks.com. Mm-hmm. Coach, I like to always throw you a blindsided question, not something we talk about in the pregame show, something that pops in my head while we're talking. And this one's a good one. This one's not going to catch you too off guard. How do you identify the identity of each team every year? Because you say each team has its own identity, but how do you find that identity for that squad as each team has overlapping players?
That's a great question. It's one of my favorite things I love doing. One of my favorite parts of the job. The season ends and we start kind of wrapping everything up, December, and you move into January. I usually take that December, January, February period, and I really try to do some deep diving. And I'm in the Word a lot, I'm praying a lot, but I'm also re-examining a number of things in terms of, as the seniors leave, what's been the personality of the underclassmen. Are they kids that are consistently we're having problems in class, or they've shown great maturity, or maybe they work really hard, but there's other deficiencies in other areas. Like, whatever the overwhelming kind of personality of the underclassmen is, kind of gives me a good lead on like, okay, what are the areas we really want to stress, that we want to grow with this upcoming team. And then the other piece is I watch for a little bit, how do they operate when the seniors are no longer in the room? And so, because that also ends up telling me a lot too. And so we'll start working out, February timeline. And when the seniors aren't there, who's stepping up? What's the leadership look like? What's the personality of the team look like in the weight room? And that gives me a pretty good idea. That's usually, by that point, it kind of solidifies what I was already thinking. And then I just start kind of building out, okay, what's the verse that most applies to this theme, or something, or I'll just start kind of working that whole thing through. But by the time we get to February, I've pretty much got a good idea of, all right, these are the strengths and the deficiencies, and this is something that we want to address. And so with this year's group, Walk Worthy, a lot of this year is teaching the young men to be young men who kind of bear fruit and showcase an honorable, Christ-centered approach to life. And so we want to talk through, like, how do you operate in the classroom? How do you walk in the hallways? How do you talk to each other? How do you talk to girls? A number of things that kind of you see in other places, but we really want to take a hard approach this year towards operating and walking in a manner worthy. And so that seems to fit this team very well on all four grade levels. And who knows what it'll be next year? I don't know. So
that's very interesting. I do appreciate you sharing your insight to how you find the culture of each team, because they are different, because you have new elements that come into factor, and new energies that emerge to the surface as the seniors move away from the squad. So yeah, I get that. It's fun. Thank you for sharing. Coach, this Friday we'll see you at Alex G. Spanos Stadium. I'm still gonna get this wrong. Mustang Memorial Stadium, presented by French Hospital. It's gonna be a good time, Coach. Thank you for having me on board. This is the Coach's Show, Friday night, 7 p.m. prepsportsnetworks.com, or our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter, the PSN. Appreciate it. That's it, Coach.